In this week's video, I take you to a remote French overseas territory located just a stone's throw off the coast of Canada. Claimed for France by the explorer Jacques Cartier in 1536, this tiny archipelago is the last remaining vestige of the former colony of New France in North America, home to over 6,000 French nationals. Join me as I spend the next 4 days exploring this unique geographical oddity that's the most authentic slice of Europe that you'll find this side of the Atlantic. Welcome to the French overseas territory of Saint-Pierre and Miquelon. Well, good morning from Saint-Pierre and Miquelon, France. I cannot believe I'm here in Europe, just off the coast of Canada. I'm so close to Canada that my TELUS Canada SIM card still works with no roaming because I'm only 15 miles from Canada. I'm going to head out to do some sightseeing today. Beautiful views of Saint-Pierre Harbor and downtown Saint-Pierre with the hills above. All right, well, this is the Terrasses du Port, where I am staying here in Saint-Pierre and Miquelon. Honestly, I cannot recommend this property enough. The rooms are absolutely beautiful. Really nice hotel. Really highly recommend that you check it out if you are visiting Saint-Pierre and Miquelon. So I'm out for my first walk here in Saint-Pierre. This is one of the many French bakeries here on Saint-Pierre. Authentic French bakery. I'm gonna go see if I can get a little pastry for myself before it closes. So this is the Patisserie Des Graves, I believe. Pretty amazing selection of traditional French baking. I got myself a couple of croissants, eclair, and beautiful meringues as well. Really cool to really be in France. It's just unbelievable. All right, well, I am my own worst enemy, evidently. Got this butter brown sugar bun, which looks great. It's like a cinnamon bun with no cinnamon. And 2 tarts. The one on the left is a lemon tart and a raspberry tart. And I just picked up a beautiful meringue. These are only €1, so about $1.50 Canadian. It's actually really cheap here. Pure egg whites and sugar. You cannot go wrong there. So a couple of local landmarks here. This is the L'Arche Museum and Archives. So that's the local history museum, I suppose, here on Saint-Pierre and Miquelon. I am heading into town. Definitely amazing views of the curved harbor here in Saint-Pierre. A lot of colorful houses there on the hillside. And this is Main Street, basically, right along the harbor front. I'm actually approaching the ferry terminal where I was yesterday, and I'm very glad that they picked me up because it's a bit of a hike out here, actually. So I'm not sure what the relevance of this monument is. It's here in this beautiful park area right along the harbor front in Saint-Pierre. It just says Memorial and Heritage of Newfoundland 2013. So I'm not sure it has some pictures of whales on it. I'm not sure what they're commemorating. I don't remember any major event happening in Newfoundland in 2013, so your guess is as good as mine. So they do have this Harbourfront Walk here, and you can see the fog is rolling back in. It's hard to see my hotel on the other side, but you can at least see in front of you, so that's something. It definitely has a laid-back vibe. Again, there's only 5,000 people here. It's not a major tourist destination by any stretch of the imagination. You kind of create your own fun here, and there's a lot of natural beauty, of course. And just cultural, like enjoying French cuisine and everything else. So I made it down here to the main square, basically, in Saint-Pierre. There's the Visitor Information Center, a little park here in the middle, and this is the ferry terminal where I came in yesterday. So this is the central square here, right in the heart of downtown Saint-Pierre, called the Place Charles de Gaulle. I wouldn't say it's the most beautiful architecture I've ever seen, but it is colorful. So as you can see here, it is 4,700 kilometers to Paris and only 25 kilometers to Newfoundland. It is an overseas collectivity of the French Republic and part of the European Union, which is bizarre because we are in North America, of course. The archipelago is composed of 3 main islands: the island of Saint-Pierre with a natural harbor, of Miquelon, joined by a sand isthmus, and the Ile-aux-Marins, or the Sailors' Island. Welcome to Saint-Pierre and Miquelon. And this is the post office here in Saint-Pierre. La Poste. Nice fountain right here in the center that's not on anymore. And you can see that it is a substantial sized town. It's actually quite a ways to walk over here from my hotel. It is named after the patron saint of fishermen, Saint Pierre, which makes sense, quite fitting given its location. Right, I'm going to go inside this little bakery here and see what I can find. So I got myself a raspberry tart and a really lovely eclair. So this looks amazing. This was so cheap, €2.90, which is about $4 Canadian. Very cheap. All right, trying the eclair. Not bad at all. This thing is just outstandingly beautiful. It's hard to eat, to be honest with you. Just so pretty. Anyway, I cannot believe this would cost like $4, $5 a piece in Canada. Oh man, fresh raspberries. It's so good. So it's basically pie crust filled with custard, topped with these amazing fresh raspberries. Amazing. So just a block away is this other beautiful city park, Square Joffre, and you can see this wrought iron gate, very typical French design. Now I am looking for the Air Saint-Pierre ticket office. A lot of cute restaurants. This is a particularly inviting street actually. There's a lot going on here. Really beautiful greenery, hanging baskets, and you can see up here a lot of multicolored buildings here. Really charming. All right, I have made it down here to the Air Saint-Pierre ticket office. I'm going to go inside and get a ticket out to Newfoundland, hopefully on Wednesday, which I've decided to do because it just saves so much time compared to doing the taxi and ferry combination. All right, I got my airplane ticket to St. John's, Newfoundland in hand. It's a 45-minute trip, and honestly, it's only $60 more than taking the bus ferry combination. And the bus ferry combination on the way to St. John's from here, you do have to stay overnight in Fortune, Newfoundland, so that adds a lot of expense there as well. This way I can just leave St. Pierre and head straight to St. John's, where I have another media commitment. Definitely seamless, and it avoids a lot of time and expense for me personally. All right, I think we're gonna get a coffee over here at this little cafe, Essentiel Creations. Looks pretty decent. You can even get a charcuterie board, cheese platter, 15 euros and change. Oh, beautiful space. It's a really nice place. Nice antique vibe here. Really cute. Gonna get a coffee. All right, this is my first cup of coffee in a very long time. Surprisingly good coffee, really. I thought it was going to be, your typical French instant, but this is brewed to perfection. Excellent place. Really recommend it. So this information post goes through the battery of the Pointe of Canons. So I guess this is called the Pointe of Canons. And this is where they basically set their cannons during the successive wars between England and France. So most of that fighting, of course, was in the 18th century. But this was the cannon mount right here. It even has a ridge around it. So again, this was during a time when the British still controlled Newfoundland. I know it's part of Canada today, but back in the day, even up to the 1940s, it was part of the UK. You could see why they wanted to protect their harbor from the British, who might have been interested in claiming this island for themselves. All right, taking a walk out here to the Lighthouse. Beautiful. You can see both sides of the harbor over here. This looks like more of an industrial fishing side. And there's the more commercial ferry terminal down that way. And it is definitely foggy. It's actually a ways down, probably a good 100 to 200 meters off the coast. So definitely a lot bigger than I expected. I thought it would be a lot more small, laid back, but definitely has a, medium-sized town vibe to it. I don't know. I don't know really what I expected. I thought it would be more touristy. It's far more authentically French. Definitely feels authentic, so that's a plus for sure. It's nice and warm though. I know it looks probably very cold in this footage. It's still, 25 degrees. It's just very foggy. But yeah, pretty pleasant out actually. Nice, cool breeze, but definitely in the 20s. So I've entered the residential neighborhoods of Saint-Pierre. And the grocery store I'm looking for is supposed to be just around the corner here, so not too far. But pretty interesting to see how the residents of Saint-Pierre live as French nationals living in North America. So this is an interesting art installation. Basically, they have a picture of France, I believe, on one side and a local area here on the other. And kind of bridging the gap is kind of what I'm seeing. Little kid playing with the ball. He's in both worlds. Kind of abstract. So right at the edge of this parking lot, basically, not quite a square, is the fairly interesting Saint-Pierre Cathedral. It is a bit worse for wear, as you can see around the edges. It almost looks like churches I've seen in Africa that just don't have a lot of money for upkeep. So you can see concrete pretty much falling off the edges of it, but a pretty decent stone tower here, stone steeple in the center. And right next door is the Hôtel du Territoire, which is basically the Territory Hall, so the seat of government of Saint-Pierre and Miquelon, and the French flags are flying high. So some incredibly old and weathered buildings down here on this residential street. I did locate the local grocery store, so this was recommended to me, Chez Le Tournelle Épicerie. So I'm going to go in and get some food. And it looks like they have a lot of President's Choice products. I think they might resell them here in France, get them cheap in Canada and so forth. Like tons of no-name products, which you don't see every day in France, that's for sure. So a lot of Canadian imports actually. Prices are pretty high though compared to France for sure. Like butter, $4.25. Bacon, €3. Is a bit more expensive here than in mainland France, that's for sure. Even cheese is like upwards of €10. And they have plenty of French things here like cassoulet and other products that are uniquely French. And as usual, plenty of wine, and it's actually very inexpensive. There's like €4 bottles here, so kind of runs the gamut from cheap to expensive, but plenty of variety of wine here, of course. I think I'm going to get this 2018 vintage of the Chateau Loudun Medoc. Looks like it's made in Bordeaux, so good enough for me. €5.88, very cheap. So for dinner tonight, I am trying out this Miquel La Blanche. So a white beer from Saint-Pierre and Miquelon, 4.5%. So we'll see what this is like. It's pretty light. Not my favorite beer, but noble effort. Well, good afternoon from Saint-Pierre, France. It is day 3 here for me now. I am going to do a little excursion today. I was originally going to take the plunge and travel up to Miquelon, but the connection requires you to get on the ferry at 6:30 in the morning, and you're stuck there until 7:30 p.m. And this is a time of the year during the off season now where there's not that many tours running. So I figured this was probably the wrong time to do Miquelon. And honestly, 11 hours is a long time to be stuck somewhere if there's not a lot going on. So I opted to switch things around a bit. I'm gonna save Miquelon for a different trip to the archipelago. I always love saving at least one destination or one area of a place, just so I have something to look forward to if I ever come back. So I've decided to head to what they call, I guess, the Fisherman's Island, the Ile-aux-Marins, which is a very historic part of Saint-Pierre and Miquelon. And it's only about a 10 to 15 minute ferry ride away. So sounds pretty interesting. Looks like there is a museum of the archipelago there, plus a little cafe and a lot of old buildings. And I've heard from multiple people that it is the true cultural highlight here in Saint-Pierre Miquelon. And this is supposed to be the best cafe in Saint-Pierre, so I can't wait to try this out. It opens at 3 p.m. They're on their lunch break right now, so I have 12 minutes to wait, but I'm gonna get myself a coffee here and see what all the fuss is about. All right, they have quite the selection of coffees available. Everything from cafe au lait to flat whites to viennois, affogatos. Plenty of selection, so that's good. And a lot of chocolate milk as well, so looks delicious. One flat white?
Takeaway?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, no, peu français. Pretty cute interior. And this fedora is definitely kind of Drifter Dave core, though I don't rock the fedora as much as I used to. My head grew too big or they shrunk. All right, this is Le Petit Gravier. Little boat that's going to take me over to Ile-aux-Marins. It leaves in 20 minutes, so you can see it's a tiny little thing. €6, not too bad whatsoever. Looking forward to this. All right, I have just boarded Le Petit Gravier, a small little ferry that is going to take me across the harbor here to Ile-aux-Marins, which is about 10 or 15 minutes away. All right, I just arrived here on Ile-aux-Marins. The ferry is heading back over to Saint-Pierre now. So you can see it's not very far. This little island is just off the harbor here in Saint-Pierre. So this is the massive Saint-Pierre Island right here. And this is Ile-aux-Marins. So it goes on from down there, kind of curves around here. These period historic buildings, all of those, kind of reaches to the end there. So it's about 2 kilometers long, she was saying. But pretty decent views here of the Saint-Pierre skyline out there in the distance. And if you have eagle vision, which is a bit hard on a day like today, you can actually see the Newfoundland coast there in the distance. So he's leaving back to Saint-Pierre. That's the boat I took coming in. And it's a bit of a rocky ride once you leave that protection of the seawall. So I was bumping up and down like mad. You can see all of these beautiful old buildings. There's even a church there on the hill. So definitely a ton of character here. I can see why it's so highly recommended. It's very quaint. There's a cafe, I think it's this one right here, La Maison Jezequel. Closes at 5. So I have about an hour basically to see things before everything kind of shuts down for the day. I'm going to take a walk here. Looks like they have a fort that way. Wow, there's quite a bit here actually. A cape. See the shape of the island here? Might as well go for a little stroll. Really evocative old buildings. You can see this one here. It's so weathered and rust stained. It's hard to know where to start. It's all very, I suppose, overwhelming. And there's no pavement here whatsoever. You're walking on the grass. So this would be pretty impossible, I think, to visit during the winter months. You can see how windswept and decaying this place is. Just so much kind of rot over time, but it still manages to be this charming place. Some of the old foundations here, houses that didn't quite survive. So according to this information sign, this is the former location of the Café de la France, which was one of the most important cabarets of the island back in the day, also called the Café Nouvelle. This was one of the most important venues for social interaction back in the day, and you can see not much remains of it, just this rocky foundation. That's about it. But this here is the Museum Archipelago, and they are closed, so no such luck. So I'm pressing up against the window here. You can see it is pretty interesting inside. They have a lot of displays, but they must have closed for the season. I'm not sure why. The Tourist Information Office said it would be open, but you kind of roll with the punches when you come to these remote destinations. Often they don't even know themselves when things are open, so it is what it is. Gonna go check out the church now. All right, this is the local church here on Ile-aux-Marins. I'm guessing they don't do services anymore, but This was once the religious heart of the island, as you can see, and it's in pretty good condition, all things considered. So I'm sure locals still come in here to pray and so forth, any devout Catholics. And right over here is a little monument. I'm not sure what it is, maybe World War I or II. Let's climb up here and see what we got going on. Oh. Beautiful, beautiful views of the ocean here. Wow. Just taking it all in as I walk up, but amazing windswept coast of Saint-Pierre. So cool. And yeah, it's a World War I memorial. The dead of 1914 to 18. So that is looking down towards the other end of Saint-Pierre Island. And over here, this is another cemetery right along the water. You can see how angry the seas are here as well. So apologies for the wind noise up here. It's just incredibly windy. If you look really closely, you can see Newfoundland very easily from here. It's just across the way there. Really cool to see Canada just off the coast here. So cool. I'm gonna head down to the little cafe and see if I can get a little snack or drink, if they're even open. I guess we'll find out. But this is looking south, I guess, along the island. Beautiful sights towards the south end. And again, this island is too big. I can't see this in an hour and a half. The tourist information office kind of let me down. It's probably more like a 4-hour excursion if you want to see the whole thing. I am literally the only person here though. Like literally the only person here. I don't even know if there's anybody else on the island right now. It's absolutely incredible. People must live here though. But nobody is out. So this is La Maison Jezequel, and I'm gonna see if I can go get some refreshments in here. What he had in his hands looked really good. So this is one of the, I think the only business here on the island. Ovid?
Oui.
Oui. Bonjour. Boisson shop? Yeah.
We here have Coca,
Okay.
Coke Zero,
Coke Zero.
Ginger Ale, Red Bull.
What kind of beer you have? Is it local beer?
Yeah, t'as mis quoi? The Disney one.
I'll try that one, yeah. Combien?
6.
6, okay. Ah, merci beaucoup, thank you. It's okay to sit here? Yeah?
Yes,
Yeah,
no
okay.
problem.
Got myself the Miquelon beer, and this is the ale, which I haven't tried yet. Has a puffin on it, so pretty cool. Pilsner du Mer, so Pilsner of the Seas, I believe. It's actually a lot better than the white beer I had the other day. So if you're coming to Saint-Pierre Miquelon, this is a good choice, the Miquel, really good. So the owner of the Maison Jezequel told me that it's probably not worth my time to go see the lighthouse. She said it's not that exciting. And she suggested that I go see a shipwreck that's actually down here. You can see these beautiful old homes here. She also verified that nobody lives here year round. So there's a population of 30 people here during the summer months. One of the main reasons is that they do not have electricity or running water on this island. So it's very cold to live here in the wintertime. Pretty much people's summer cottages, if nothing else. I'm guessing this is kind of like the center of the island where most people that do stay here over the summer months live. You can see there's like playground equipment, so for sure some people have these cottages over the summer months to enjoy the island. Yeah, it's pretty dead. I literally am one of the only people here on the island today. But she tells me there is a shipwreck right ahead of me here, about 500 meters down, so I should be able to go check it out and head back to the boat before it leaves in about 25 minutes. Wow! Honestly, this is incredible. Massive shipwreck. So cool. Transpacific. I don't know the history here, but definitely an old shipwreck from probably the 1900s. And beautiful views of the little hill on this north end of the island. So cool. But I gotta go because I don't want to miss this boat. Boat leaves in 7 minutes. Okay, I gotta get back. Shoot. Oh, I love this part of travel. I cut it close a lot, unfortunately. Horrible time management, but this was a fun little detour. You can see the little boat approaching, so I think I'll be okay to get on. It's right there, but man, I got that close. You can see it's a bit of a rocky ride, so just know that it's definitely not smooth sailing. And saying goodbye to Ile-aux-Marins. It was definitely worth the little detour. Nice little excursion from Saint-Pierre. Pretty nice day. I definitely saw a lot today. So surprisingly enough, Saint-Pierre Miquelon has one of the only, or the only, home hardware location outside of Canada. So home hardware is officially an international brand. I had no idea. So they also have Super U here, which I last visited in Côte d'Ivoire. So this is the main grocery store here in Saint-Pierre and Miquelon. They pretty much have everything here. So what I love about this store is there are so many French brands like this Bon Duel and the U Super Mega brand, but also right next to Canadian brands like Compliments from Sobeys, Safeway, and Almer. So a lot of variety. You definitely get a lot from Canada here as well. So I love that you can get so many French products here. Like, so many things are imported from France, and it's not even expensive, of course, because there's no duties. I have literally been looking for these in Canada for the past 4 years. I tried these back in 2019 when I visited Paris, and these are so good. These Bon Maman tartelettes. So that is pretty much it for me from Saint-Pierre. I'm gonna head back to the hotel, get ready to go to the airport. I did miss out on a few things. I wanted to go to the Belvedere, the viewpoint overlooking Saint-Pierre, but unfortunately it's just been so foggy that there's not really been any clear day where the top of that mountain has been visible. So it's just kind of a lousy time of year to come here, just with the weather. That goes for Newfoundland too. The weather turns pretty foul here into September, October, and onward. So July and August are really your best time to come to Saint-Pierre and Miquelon. Even then, you might get some foul weather, but a lot less likely that time of year. All right, this is my last patisserie visit here in Saint-Pierre. So looking forward to gorging myself one last time on these delicious French pastries before I leave French territory behind. All right, I am heading to the airport. Airport's only 5 minutes away or so from the hotel, so it's really convenient. Quite nice here.
Yes.
Quite beautiful. All right, I just got dropped off here at the Saint-Pierre Airport. This is airport code FSP. And I'm ready to check in for my flight to St. John's, Newfoundland. This is going to be a 45-minute flight, very close, and it was about $200 Canadian, 123 euros. All right, I am off the plane from Saint-Pierre, landed in St. John's, Newfoundland. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to click the bell icon to be notified when new episodes are posted. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.